Hey, what's going on, guys? Back with another video. It's been a while since I've done that. I'm not going away from YouTube, just so you know. I might occasionally post a video here and there, but I'm not in a huge rush to do any of that. Until maybe when I get my own place and everything, that's when I'll really start to do that a lot more frequently, and so on and so forth. I figured I'd go ahead and just make that little announcement to you. But, I mean, if I need to take an extensive break, I'll definitely let you know whenever I, might save up enough money and finally get a place of my own. That way I have secure enough funds and financial status to really, make that happen. But anyways, anywho, getting to the subject of this video, it's kind of like I guess you can say it's like I wouldn't say it's like a how-to, but more like a confidence booster in case if you feel like you may have messed up something and you feel like you don't know if you want to go back. But I figured I'd go ahead and do this as a way not just to help me, but to help y'all. That way you can double check and make sure you fix the mistakes, because it could cost you. So yeah, I figured I'd go ahead and do this video here. It's kind of like a transmission fix booster up, or fix I don't know. I really don't know what to call this video, but I had the name for it, but I can't even remember. But anyways, getting to the subject, starting on Monday, I decided to go ahead and change the transmission fluid, the gasket, and the filter. I haven't done that in almost 3 years, and I'll tell some brief little stories. Hopefully they won't take too much of your time. I'll try to keep this video as short as possible. If it goes beyond that length, apologies, but you know what? It is what it is. This is, after all, my YouTube, and I'll do whatever the fuck I want to do. But anyways, back on the subject. Back in 2015, I was trying to change what I was doing on this Monday. Fluid, gasket, and filter. Before I did that, I remember I did the oil stuff first, the engine oil and the filter. I contemplated doing all the transmission stuff, but I decided to go ahead and do it. Then after I got all the fluid drain, bolts out, old transmission filter out, after getting the new filter in, I think it started raining, or I felt some rain. I didn't know it was going to be severe. I didn't get a chance to check the weather, and because I was doing this outside without any kind of covering or shade, or any kind of shade. But anyways, I kind of rushed to put those bolts back in. I was actually using an air-based tool to get them all out, and I may have rushed one. I felt like one of them started to go in tight, so I basically made sure that a few of the bolts that were going in tight went in there. So I don't know if it stripped any threads. If it did, it didn't strip a whole lot. I was able to come to find out, and I hadn't changed it for a while since then, because transmission fluid can last a pretty good while in Toyota vehicles, and this specifically is a 2006 Toyota Corolla that I'm driving here. But anywho, sometime when I actually got this vehicle, when it was actually my vehicle, because it used to be my mom's, and my mom drives a much later vehicle, I decided to go ahead and change it, but it had been a few years since I actually did it. So I eventually drained the fluid, took out the bolts, took out the filter, used an aftermarket one. That's what we've been doing, but apparently I noticed it started having a little bit of a leak, and I wouldn't say it was severe, but it was kind of leaking. I don't know if it had something to do with that, or the fact that I didn't have the gasket in right. But apparently, if it's like what I have here, I did buy it, but I actually didn't use this gasket for what I did. This is an aftermarket gasket and 18 holes. Apparently, you never really want to use an aftermarket gasket. If you do use it, apparently I've seen people use sealant to make sure it stays on there, holds on there, because usually when you put the gasket on there and try to line it up, it can be a bit of a pain in the ass. That's why you have to get a couple bolts started and kind of align the gasket to its proper length, so make sure the gasket's aligned properly, so to speak. But anyways, I had someone else do it for me for a few years, and then since it costs a little bit of money, and I don't really have a job right now, that's why I decided to go ahead and do this. Now, for suspension related stuff, I had someone else do that. There's no way I can do that. I'm not exactly set up for it. But I decided to do this because I know I've done this before numerous times. And I did this on Monday. Did the usual fluid drain, take the bolts out, old filter out, put the new filter in, put the bolts in. I thought, you know, by starting it up and seeing how it lined up, I thought it lined up okay, and proceeded to, you know, of course I lifted it up with this jack stand. I don't know if you can tell if this white thing's sticking up. That's what I used to jack it up. And if you can tell, let's see if I can adjust that. Those are the jack stands I use to hold the car, to make sure the car didn't move or hold it in place, pretty much. These are 3-ton jacks. That's what I used. And this is not what I really used at first. I actually had this jug here, this new jug, which was a gallon of transmission oil, and the brand's called Schaefer's. Let's see if I don't mind that. That's the funnel I used. Yeah, it's Schaefer's Specialized Lubricants. It's basically All-Trans Supreme multi-vehicles. That's what this jug that I bought on eBay was. And yeah, that's the fluid, that's the oil I would recommend you use, Schaefer's oil. I did a little video about the engine oil, which is also Schaefer's. It's the best oil. If you want to go with an alternative, apparently from what I understood, you can use like Shell Rotella. That's a good alternative if you don't want to get Schaefer's. But if you want the best, Schaefer's is the best, because they have a particular ingredient that's called moly that really helps preserve the engine parts, the turbines, much better than all the conventional oils that you get. Supposedly the Shell Rotella is the one that comes close. I think a couple others started using that moly ingredient because back in the back like 20-30 years ago or so, none of the conventional oils that you bought had that. And sorry, this is the funnel I used. And also, it's also good to have a paint strainer in case you want to do what I do, which I'm going to get into. After I did all that, it started leaking, and I was thinking, great. And apparently it was going to start raining, and I just took out the plug, the drain plug, which is what you really should do before you take the bolts out to drain pretty much almost all the oil out. And that's what I did. I didn't notice this, but I'll get to this. But I was kind of upset with myself, but it started raining, and I didn't really feel like doing anything else. I even called someone. Maybe I might take it to the same place I've been doing it, see what's going on. But you know what? I kind of thought to myself before I went to bed and during my sleep and waking up, I realized, you know what? I should really pull myself together, get that confidence, and just go ahead and try to redo my mistake. I don't know what made me do that, but you know what? It's just that sense of pride and determination and focus that you can't let that go. You gotta really build yourself up again and have that confidence to go on. And that's what I did. Yesterday I managed to take out all the transmission bolts. This time, you know, you want to clean up the surface of the pan, that way nothing sticks whenever you're doing all that. And by the way, if you're not familiar with that, in order to take the transmission bolts out of the 2006 Corolla, this is basically for the 2003 to 2008 vehicles. You always want to have a 10mm socket. That's what takes the bolts out. And there should be, at least on my vehicle, there's going to be 18. It might be a little different on all vehicles, but it's either 18, 17, or 19. I don't know. And of course, having the 3/8. Yeah, I'm not going to take it out. And for the transmission plug, this is the old one. I'll get into that. You're going to need a 9/16 3H. That's what I use. And this here is actually a Cobalt USA made 3H drive. You know me, I want the quality, I want the best. But anyways, I'm getting a little off track here. Anyways, I managed to redo a lot. This time, when I got the bolts in there, I made sure that the gasket was aligned properly like it should have been. That's what I did this time, to kind of make sure. And I would occasionally, you know, screw in the bolts by hand. That's what you usually start off by doing that. You put a few in here and there, and then you make sure the gasket is going to stay properly aligned like it should. And I believe this time that's what, to make a long story short, I managed to do all that. And what I ended up doing was I preserved some of the old fluid. I decided to do a little test to make sure that, you know, it wouldn't leak, because like I said, I didn't even start this car when I did all that on Monday. This time I put the old fluid in there. I also had, make sure, like I mentioned earlier, have paint strainers, because apparently it had some old dirt, and apparently leaves and a few pieces of grass or twigs, whatever. That's why you want to have paint strainers. That way you filter out all the bad stuff. That's why I did. I put the old fluid back in because it wasn't all that bad. But when you have new fluid, it's a little more brighter red. But anyways, I did all that. Checked it. Nothing leaked around the sides. So this time I did a much better job in getting it aligned properly. I thought, okay, we're in business. Maybe I can go ahead and start, getting all the transmission in there. Unfortunately, before I did all that, when I drained the old fluid out when taking out the transmission plug, which is this thing here, apparently I should have noticed it. It didn't seem to, it would kind of go in tough and kind of go in, it would kind of start to not go in like it should. It starts a little bit, then it doesn't go in like it should, like it starts to get, like I kind of had to use my socket just to get it in there, and probably shouldn't have done that. Should have realized that was a bad sign of things. And because apparently there was actually glue on there before. Then when I went to put the new fluid in there, around where this plug is at, it started having a slow leak. So I'm like, oh shit. I just hope it was the plug because I didn't know what else to do. So eventually I called a few places. None of the stores had it, like O'Reilly's or Advanced Auto Parts. I didn't call AutoZone, but none of them had it. Supposedly it'd take a day or so, maybe even longer. So I called, but I decided to call dealership, see what they had. They can get it within the day and it'd be a little cheaper because apparently the aftermarket one was going to be $20. But they also mentioned that apparently when I called the one place on 183, they mentioned a Cedar Park store had 5 in stock. So you know what? I thought I should go ahead and go down there. Luckily, my mom came back early. I took her car down there and managed to get the new plug, which is actually this part number here. So yeah, if you can tell, that's the part number. That's the part number for a new transmission plug. I believe it's for the 03 to 08 models for the Corolla. Because I don't know if you can tell, but this one is stripped. That's why I ended up getting the new one. I was hoping that would be the case. However, when I came back last night, I tried to put it in there. It didn't even really want to go in there. I'm like, shit. So it was either get a new pan, or hopefully my dad had a restoration set, or tap and die set, which thankfully he did. I don't know if you can tell. It's a snap-on 48-piece thread restoration set. USA made. And I ended up, using this as kind of a guide to figure out what kind of thread pitch this was. And I believe it's 1.5. And so I decided to use the metric little, I forget what you call these exactly. It's rethreading, I guess you can say these are taps. I guess these are called taps or not. I don't know. But I used this little metric here because it was the one that would go in, at least go in there. And I also have some cutting fluid. That really helps a lot. Spray it on there, spray it in there, fix it, and voila. This time the new transmission plug went in there. And as a result, I was able to put the new fluid, which since I had to save the new fluid, I actually had to cut this this jug out that it was in, so I can use it as a pan of sorts, because my other old pan was being occupied by the old fluid. So I had to kind of think a little bit, think on my feet as quickly as I can, because I did lose a little bit of the fluid, but luckily my dad had this container here. That really helped. Of course, this is the funnel I used to drain it. It's only like, if you can get one at O'Reilly's, it's going to be like with tax $2.91 for that funnel. So that's not bad, all things considering. And like I said, I used a paint strainer to kind of drain the fluid I put back in here, because unfortunately there was some stuff that somehow got on there. But like I said, it's always good to have paint strainers to use. So you want to keep all that dirt, and that's when I drain it in here. This is the new fluid. And I just recently put the new fluid in there, and I checked around, no leaks. So here comes the test. We're going to see how it does when it starts, which I haven't done yet. So wish me luck. Let's hope that everything goes well. Oh, don't want to forget this. Whoops. A little dirty there, but you know what? Job well done, I'd say. I checked around the pan, no leaks. That feels pretty good. It really feels good whenever you realize you made a mistake and you don't want to lose that confidence and you want to feel like you can try to fix it or attempt to at least alleviate some of the problems you had. Because I almost was not too far from wanting to pay somebody to do it, and it would have cost me around $150 to do all this, which I guess isn't horrible, but at least you save $150 having to do this. I just basically paid what, $5. I bought that fluid like months ago, and had to, you know, put in a little bit of gas for my mom's vehicle, like $10. So, it's not bad. Had all the tools here. I can't complain about that. Anywho, I think this will do it for this video, so I apologize for the length, but you know what? I'm not here to tell you how to do things, or it's not really a how-to video. It can be kind of like that, but it's also good to know what kind of tools you're having. You gotta have the right tool for the right job. So yeah. Anywho, I think I might do one more thing. I might change the power steering fluid. I think, and there's plenty of videos on that, but all you have to do is get some kind of air pump. You just got to take out, you know, the transmission fluid. You got to have some kind of jug that you can dispose of the old fluid. I'm going to actually take, you can't see it, but there's 2 jugs over there with the old transmission fluid. I'm going to dispose, you can take that to Walmart and they'll dispose of it properly, so yeah. But yeah, I think that'll do it for me, and hopefully you like this video. Feel free to like, comment, share, and just give your thoughts. So yeah. Anywho, I'll be seeing you later. Bye-bye. And sorry about that. I was trying to stop the camera, but all right. Apologize for it. It's a little kind of bright. It's kind of weird doing this on the outside. But anyways, okay. I will see you folks later. Bye-bye.